guys, this is a quick 5-minute video just to give you the final reveal on my Airfix 48 scale Sea Harrier. There's very little to report about this kit. It's actually very basic. There's no engine in it. There's no... the nozzles are supposed to move, but the actual fittings into the fuselage are so poor that when you apply paint to the nozzles, they don't move hardly at all. The kit has just one armaments fit, which is the standard armaments fit that the aircraft had during the Falklands conflict. And it does come in 2 or 3 different variants, which you can paint the 3 different variants, and 2 are from Invincible, and the third is from HMS Hermes. I did the aircraft which was flown by Flight Lieutenant Commander Nigel Shaw, called Sharky Shaw, and this aircraft, he actually flew 4 or 5 different aircraft during the Falklands campaign, but the ones that he achieved aces in were 006 and 000. And 000 is the one that shot down the Hercules, that he shot down with the Aden cannons and a Sidewinder missile. The aircraft is actually really, really nicely finished. I was quite impressed with the finish I got on with the paint, because the paint is actually the same colour I used on the Vulcan's upper grey surfaces, which is a medium sea grey. And the forward nose cone is painted in matte, semi-gloss Humbrol 85, which is semi-gloss black. All the other colours, just gloss white, 22 for the missiles, matte black, but for some reason on the main tyres they didn't seem to want to go that matte. Gloss white on the interior of the air brake there. I also put an additional ram in, scratch-built ram in, because the ram didn't come with the model, and all the avionics fits are basically matte 26, which is the lighter tone of the matte brown that Humbrol do. The interesting thing about when you're building Harriers, a lot of people don't realise this, but the Harrier is powered by a Bristol Siddeley Pegasus engine, later built by Rolls-Royce, of course. And the Pegasus engine is actually a turbofan engine, which has a high bypass turbofan at the front and compressors to produce the thrust at the back. But the high bypass turbofan is rotated by the compressor thrust as it rotates the compressors. So at the back, the jet nozzles are burnt to hell, which is why you have a blast plate at the back of the airframe there. And the forward nozzles are actually just blowing the cold air from the forward main turbine. So the forward nozzles tend to be camo coloured, and they are sometimes painted in a gun metal. In some air forces, they're sometimes like just bare metal, which is gun metal, I think. But the back jet pipes, they're always really heavily burnt, and in this one I tried to get a burnt look. Not that bad, but it's not as good as I was hoping for. So that's basically the finished result. I had no build issues with this kit whatsoever. Even the pilot himself, Sharky, in there, he went together quite well. They have multiple pose arms on the Airfix kit, so you can actually have him doing anything with his arms. I've actually got one of his arms holding the joystick and the other one touching the rim of the dashboard surround. And I'm hoping you can see it. I don't know if you can, but I've done a build progress video to this kit, which I'll be putting up after this one. And I don't think you can see it very well. I don't think you can see it at all very well, which is a shame, because the instrument panel on this kit is actually very nice. And you can see it on the build progress video. It's a really nice instrument panel. It looked really good. The markings went on like a dream, no issues really whatsoever, except for 2 markings which I found they were a bit of a problem. On the wing root here on the leading edge, there's 2 markings which I don't actually know what they are. There's some sort of vent, I think, for the engine, or maybe a bleed valve for the engine which leads air over the leading edge. I'm not sure what they are, but these transfers, they did not want to sit on that airframe at all. I had to persuade them several times, but other than that, the actual kit itself went together very easily. There were no issues whatsoever. I used absolutely no filler on this kit whatsoever. It just sanded down beautiful. There was a little bit of chafering, and the paint did the rest. I just put the very first layer of paint was in the joins, and then I sanded them down, and then I did this first layer, the first proper coat of paint, and then I just put a second coat, and it went on beautiful. So very happy with the results on that. The only bit of interior detail there is the actual turbine itself, which I'm hoping you can see. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, probably, yeah, just about. The turbine itself is painted in gloss metallic 11 Humbrol paint, just standard silver, and the interior of the air intakes are actually camo painted for the elephant lugs, and the inside of the airframe around the turbine is actually matte light aircraft grey, because normal Harriers tend to be white inside, even the elephant lugs tend to be white, but the Sea Harrier had to be treated to protect her from the salt water and the salt spray that she is susceptible to on aircraft carrier decks, and so they put an additional coat of camo on the legs, camo pattern on the elephant lugs, and the interior is coated in a salt resistant etch, which enables the aircraft to lengthen its life of its engine and the airframe and everything when it's in combat. And the Sea Harrier had a really good combat record. There were none lost in combat. There were only 2 aircraft lost to operational issues, but they weren't to combat. They were to bad weather and things like that. So the Sea Harrier, that's the Sea Harrier from 809 Squadron, based on our HMS Invincible during the Falklands campaign. Very, very impressed with this kit. It is a very basic kit. It's not very difficult. A novice would put this together in probably a couple of days and paint it maybe 2 or 3 days. I did take a little bit longer because I was working on other projects at the same time. But this kit just flies together. Very quick and easy build. The finish on it is quite nice. It's not heavily detailed. As I said, there's no engine inside the aircraft. There's no alternative ammo fit. And the interior is pretty basic as well. But apart from the instrument panel, the interior is not much to write home about, but the instrument panel decal looks lovely on this kit. So just thought I'd show you this one before it gets packed away. I hope you guys are having fun with your model kits and your projects, and I hope that this video has been of some use to you. If it has, I'm very glad. And thanks very much to Martin for letting me get involved with this build project. I'm a bit sorry that you're not releasing another one until maybe 2 or 3 months, but yeah, we know life issues and everything, and things have to happen at home. But I hope everything goes well for you and your families well, and I'll be joining you for the next one, mate. Thank you very much. Bye bye for now.